It's a good day to play the Talos Principle 2. Welcome to part 9 of our playthrough through this wonderful puzzle game. Last episode we explored the first um, part of the mega structure which we lit from the east side, and I believe this opened up, or the terminals inside of the mega structure opened up a path forward to maybe the southern part, the northern part. Okay, so we have two areas up north, two unlocked for now. So let's see what that has to offer. We'll explore North 1, or if that is yeah, North 1. The same amount of puzzles, lost labs, and stars as in the others. So yeah, we'll go to the Desolate Island, a remote rocky island of the northwestern coast. Survey data suggests the area may be prone to landslide. Alright, let's see what that looks like.
You should be headed towards an island off the northern coast. The terrain's pretty rough, so be careful.
The island has another island attached to it.
Yes, it has several, actually.
How irritating.
What?
Ooh. That is quite majestic. A snowy biome. Alright, it's like a mountainous, snowy area. And we're up in a massive structure with islands scattered, or puzzles scattered all over the island. Alright. I think we can just start with these puzzles up here and see what they can offer. Mind-body dualism. Oh, interesting. So we can swap bodies.
What the?
Interesting. Okay, so instead of the recording, we have swapping abilities. Let's see. Okay. I think I can. Just do that. And I believe, yeah, we can pass through bars. Okay, nice new mechanic. Someone's there. Do they have anything new to say? Yeah, they do. Alright, Alcatraz.
What can I do for you, 1K?
Did you know the founder?
I sure did. Not as well as Byron, but she was still around when I was born. I remember she came and talked to me after New Alexandria, told me how sorry she was. I never blamed her for that. It wasn't her responsibility.
What was New Jerusalem like when you were born?
A lot busier than it is now. My most defining memory is that it was extremely noisy, because something was always being built. Got annoying after a while.
Tell me about New Alexandria.
For some reason, we'd convinced ourselves that New Jerusalem wasn't enough. that we needed another city. We thought it would be easier the second time around. All it takes is a little bit of arrogance and a little bit of ignorance, and people die.
Yeah, that's how life goes. Okay, so once we are done, we can go up there through somewhere. Alright. Let's go to puzzle number 2. Leg up. Okay. We have a platform. We can down here get out. I think then this jump up. Now I have my clone there. They jump, take the platform. Yeah. Quite straightforward as well.
Any further insights on the particle clouds, Melville?
To be honest with you, Byron, I feel like a caveman trying to study Bose-Einstein condensate. I'm seeing unknown particles whose every property violates the laws of physics, apparently capable of being controlled and recombined into just about anything. It's ridiculous.
Maybe someone in New Jerusalem can figure it out.
Sure, just give them another 1,000 years.
Okay, well, let's read what is new in here on the social media thread. The Founder Mega Thread. Please keep discussion of the alleged presence of the Founder at the site of the megastructure confined to this thread. I'm still in shock. I wasn't even sure the Founder was still alive. Of course she is. And now that we have reached completion day, she has sent us her scared messengers. Could still be aliens pretending to be the Founder. It's not aliens, and if Prometheus and Pandora are her secret messengers, why has one apparently chained the other? The day of her return is imminent. So now you agree that Byron was right to want an expedition. In fact, it was the Founder's will all along, and when you said it would be wrong to even consider going to the island, you were acting against the Founder? Your word games aren't going to help you when the Founder returns, Orinia. It was wonderful to hear Athena's voice again, but with all the emotion inherent in this matter, we should be careful not to get swept away. We don't really understand anything yet. Can't help but wonder, if Miranda is her daughter, was Athena just trying to start a new civilization? Did she abandon New Jerusalem? She would never abandon New Jerusalem. I think this was just an experiment to further the new people, the new generations. This was something to bolster humanity, I would say. It wasn't abandoning. When Gay is right, it's impossible. Something else is going on here. I agree, there must be more to this. She must have some kind of plan. Why else would she create all those puzzles? Exactly. Just meant for us to be seen. So, yeah. Let's do number 3. Dual stream. Okay. So... we have... we just passed through. the other. But in a way that we can see him. Alright.
Every one of these clouds seems to contain exactly the same amount of energy. Wonka, I've been watching you solve these puzzles, and this body replication tech is incredible. It just casually blows up the very foundations of our society.
Does it though? It's just a body without a mind, without a soul, so it's just transferring the consciousness. What do you mean?
Do you have any idea how hard it is to make more of us? We're not like a toaster. You don't just weld together a couple of wires and a motherboard and call it a day. Not to mention how hard it is to even find some of the materials. And this thing just, poof, new human.
The goal was to stop at 1000, wasn't it?
It was. Or was it? And even if it was, sorry to be heretical, but does it matter? If we can figure out how this works, we can finally, easily create more people. We can grow. We can expand. We can build a real civilization. Isn't that worth pursuing?
I mean, if Athena has created Miranda, she had to create a body for her, so this could just be earlier stages of the experiment. And at the end of our journey, we could get the recipe. Maybe there are legitimate reasons to limit the population. I think that's true as well. I think I read somewhere that once you have more than 100 or more than 1,000 people, then divergence starts being a thing, where they will split up into different communities and will work against one another. I don't know if that would happen here because we are like a collective mind, so maybe that's not a thing for us. So maybe there are legitimate reasons, but they are not valid for us.
The mayor seems to think so. But why? What are the actual reasons?
I think that was just an arbitrary number that she wanted to reach. But yeah, I don't think there's a reason for us limiting ourselves. When it's a hive mind, we couldn't really go against one another.
Of course I'm right. I'm Melville. Now go solve some more puzzles. I need to think.
Alright, I'll get back to work. Experimenting with the mind transfer body replication tech. The founder appears to have developed a technology that prints new bodies, using those particle clouds we're already familiar with. These bodies come with a protocol for instantly transferring the user's mind. I cannot sufficiently underline how mad this is. The implications would be breathtaking, if we breathed. There seem to be a number of safeguards. So far I've not been able to get this tech to work outside the puzzles. I did manage to sort of make sense of the mind transfer protocol, however, and I'm uploading all the data I've collected. It will need to be studied extensively before it can be used, but I can think of a lot of potential applications. What really grinds my gears though is how casually it's all deployed. It takes us ages to make a new body, and here there's a whole bunch of them doing no more than holding up platforms or standing on pressure plates. Is this all a joke? I can see how Melville might something that is...
This body replication technology is proof of just how vital this expedition is.
Yeah.
We may not know how it works and what its limitations are, but the technology itself isn't even what really matters. What matters is to expand our imagination, to realize that other futures are possible. I'm glad you see it that way too, 1K. After all, the world is better with you in it, isn't it?
I guess.
Everything okay?
Something you've on your mind. What did you think about the body replication tech?
It seems like something that could very quickly get out of control. You know that saying about good intentions? If we can solve problems by just making more people, how long before people just become a problem-solving tool?
That's what we are right now, I guess. In real life. If you need a problem solved, then you just get a human. But we also have robots. What's up? Is that the start of the bridge? It is. Okay. What about here? Stairs. Back to the platform. Alright. I think we can continue on down to puzzle number 4. Oh. Okay, so there's gonna be a statue of Prometheus somewhere, and we know where the beginning is. I think we can just jump down from there. Alright. We'll do that after we solve the puzzles. I don't want to run around accidentally passing or missing something. This is huge. Oh. Oh, there's no limit. I guess maybe it could be possible to go down there all the way. We'll see. Okay, number 4. Anything behind you? Looks like nothing. Okay, let's do the puzzle. High ground. Okay, so we have 2 people. A box on a platform, and we need to get up there. So I'm guessing that box, human, platform... No. Human, box. Human, platform, human. First, someone needs to get on the platform. It's gonna be the person at the top. Someone needs to get... this. Can you jump on it? No. Yes. What does that look like? Any other platform? Okay. Can you take my box? Can. Hmm. there a box somewhere? Oh, there's a platform there. Okay. Guess what we need to do is take this box. You go up there, take the platform. Okay. Then you get up here. Alright. A nice human tower. Yakut.
Miranda is the founder's daughter. It's still kind of blowing my mind. She came all the way out here, left everything she had behind, and created a new life. Why do you think she did that?
Is creating new life is beautiful?
Miranda is certainly amazing, at least from what she sounds like. I can imagine that it must feel very special to be her parent. On the other hand, we're not like ancient humans. We're not born as babies. Would you have preferred to have a family?
I think if you're grown a full rational being, you still need some guidance. So some guidance would have been nice.
Fair enough. You did get thrown in at the deep end.
I wanted to ask you about something else. How are you feeling?
I'm not sure, to be honest. This is all so surreal. Walking around here is so peaceful, but it's also, I don't know. One moment I feel inspired, the next, kind of creeped out.
Why is the northern part of the island mostly underwater?
Our ancestors relied heavily on fossil fuels for energy generation, which
Global
released
warming.
a lot of carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
This caused the atmosphere to trap more heat, which changed the planet's overall climate. The effect continued even after they were gone, and these low-lying areas were flooded. I've seen a lot of places like that.
Did you ever meet the founder?
No, I never did. I would have loved to.
Have you changed your mind about trying some puzzles?
Nope.
What did you make of the megastructure's interior?
You know, people throw around the word awesome a lot. I probably do it too, but I think what we saw in there is the proper meaning of the word.
Yeah, quite massive, magnanimous. Alright, let's continue on to Hive. It's down here. Yep. So that's gonna be the lower lying puzzle. There's a short path down there. We can explore that after we complete 5. Anything behind it, as always. Nothing. Alright then. The gift. Okay. We have a box. We'll need a box to get a connection. soon. But he's there. Yeah, let's get the box. Now that we have this. Okay. You'll need the box to open up or to launch myself up, but I can take the connector. I think he has to set it down on a box to reach it. Yeah. Now I can see it no problem. Which means I can have this box launch me up and activate this door to put me up here. Well, I didn't really need to do that, right? I could have just taken this without the other person. But I think this is more elegant. Both of us being up here. Alright. These structures are just so impressive. I don't understand what possible function this structure could have, but it's really, really impressive. Hold on, could that be its function? Just to be impressive? Could be. Body replication. The technology discovered by the expedition changes everything. Every argument about how hard it is to get access to the resources necessary to create more of us goes out the window. We can create more people. 1K doesn't have to be the last. And it would be easy. Are we really going to give up just because of the goal? Energy doesn't just come from nowhere. We have no idea what the real cost behind this technology is. Besides, the goal is an ideal, not just the limit we ran into by accident. It is the will of the founder. Yeah, right. It's not necessary to share a personal belief in the founder to understand the value of the goal. It's clear to all, but the most radical, that humanity needs limits for its own sake and for the sake of the planet. You say that as if it was self-evident. It's not. You're smuggling a whole host of misanthropic ideas into the conversation under the disguise of reasonableness. Your premises are completely rotten. I believe the results of human history speak for themselves, and I find it shocking that anyone would disagree with something so obvious. Shocking that anyone would value human beings and think that maybe our ancestors could have solved their problems using their brains instead of preaching misery for all. That maybe there is some effing fucking point in blaming other factors beyond technology and growth. Like, I don't know, people in positions of authority preaching their self-important fucking morality instead of trying to solve ordinary people's problems. Authority? I'm just an academic. It's completely disingenuous and you know it. You're a clique, as the mayor here. Clique? I assure you there's no such thing. This conversation is getting out of hand. If you can't behave, I'm shutting this down. Yeah, so this got quite heated. This conversation is irritating, but should be allowed as a matter of principle. Because free speech is a thing. Sorry to have irritated you, 1K, but thank you for speaking up. New Jerusalem is a democracy, and without free speech, democracy is a sham. Yeah. A lovely sentiment, but you should try moderating this forum and see what it's like. If every conversation is allowed to explode, instability is guaranteed. We have to set reasonable limits on behavior. Thread closed. Well, if you set a limit on something you don't like, then that's not free speech. That's censorship. Right. There's this little offshoot. So where does that go? It goes to a question mark. Looks like a terminal. Nice view. Lift receiver.
As we continue exploring the cold northern reaches of the island, the contrast between the harshness of this place and the softness of New Jerusalem becomes more and more pronounced. There is a kind of madness in what we are doing, going to a place that is so hostile to our existence. That does not mean there is nothing to love here. There is, in fact, a great beauty, but it is a hateful beauty. A beauty you can only love because there are places that are not like this. And yet, it is precisely this hateful beauty that the people of New Jerusalem fail to see, and so cannot understand their own blessings.
If you don't have beauty, you don't notice beauty, but you also don't notice the bad things. So both things have to exist so you know the distinction. To know the other, you must first know the one. Okay. Looks like this will be a lost puzzle. But I mean, it's on our path. I think we can just do it. Anything behind? I don't think there will be. Can look. Oh. Okay, so that will be connected to... That's Prometheus. So to the Sphinx puzzle. So there's gonna be Prometheus and the Sphinx. Okay. Passing through. We have a jammer behind a door with a person. Get him. We have a box. And a platform. I don't know if this is possible in this game, but in the previous one, when you moved the jammer, it was still active. Yeah, so it just turns in the different direction. Okay, but now we don't need it. Cool.
I can't imagine spending years in such a desolate place. For what? Science? Enlightenment? I'd much rather be back home in New Jerusalem.
I think it's beautiful in its own way. But I don't understand how our ancestors could survive here. They were so fragile. Imagine getting stuck out here in the cold. I wonder if there are wolves.
It's kind of a miracle biological humans lasted as long as they did.
I mean, they wouldn't really live in the mountains. It would be a place to stay, not permanent. At least for most humans. So that's Prometheus. We need to get the tip to him. Just going to see if there's anything else going up with him. Yeah, we need to find the sprite. Nothing else here. We'll go check that out. Looks like it's off the beaten path, so see if that's anything. Okay, so there's fall damage. Yeah, looks like we can go all the way down, so maybe there's something near the coast. So it just came down here for Tetris. Okay. Let's go back up then. Let's go to puzzle 6. Here we have a terminal. A very nice view. On Cornelius. The personal reminiscences of Midku 166. There are some people whose true importance you just don't notice at first. People who quietly hold things together without making a big deal of it. That's what Cornelius was. Always by Athena's side, he calmly and carefully helped us all stay on track, reminding us of our shared humanity and the values that had brought us this far. I cannot imagine how painful it must have been when Athena left him behind, when he went on his so-called research expedition. Most people thought he went looking for her, and to be honest, I thought he might never come back, and I was surprised when he finally did. I still don't understand how she could leave him. They seemed to love each other so deeply. After he returned, Cornelius was different. He founded the Museum of the Simulation and very rarely left its premises. The archive scholars doted on him, but he walled himself off, becoming almost as much of a recluse as Eustathius. And only then did I slowly understand how much the city had lost. So maybe something happened with Athena as well, like an argument. Blake. Romulan Blake. God appears and God is light to those poor souls who dwell in night, but does a human form display to those who dwell in realms of day? Prime mover from Eustathius. Excerpted from Considerations by Eustathius. While it is hard from our vantage point to fully believe in any of the ancient religions, I must admit that I have come to believe in the existence of a prime mover. Not a designer as such, certainly not an interventionist god, but some force that set the universe itself into motion. I do not know if it is possible for us to ever truly understand this being, since it must, by definition, exist outside of our understanding of reality. But I do believe that it exists. Does it look upon us with love? Are we entertainment, perhaps? Does it preserve some memory of us when we die? All of this I cannot answer. But I do not believe those who honestly speak of having experienced some manner of brief communion with this entity. It's simply too common an experience in human history to easily discount. As the motion of the universe proceeds from the Big Bang, so whatever force animates us, whatever constitutes the true foundation of consciousness, proceeds from the prime mover. What do you think about this, Mother? I don't believe in any kind of prime mover, but I thought you should read it because Eustathius is an intelligent person, and he came to this conclusion after a great deal of thought. It's important to respectfully consider points of view we don't agree with. And modernity. From the book of annotated internet comments by Eustathius. If modernity is so great, why is everyone so fundamentally disappointed with the world? Why do we sigh with pleasure at the sight of old houses, but feel nothing but depressed and alienated by skyscrapers? Why do we yearn for lush forests and wide plains, not narrow canyons between buildings? We love all this technology so much. Why is our idea of happiness to get away from it? Could it be that progress is just a story we tell ourselves to justify why we allow ourselves to be dominated by inhumanity, and older forms of living have something to offer? It seems that many of us share this desire to immerse ourselves in nature, that we are ourselves entirely technological beings. We enjoy and value the Earth's diverse and unpredictable biosphere. But does that mean that progress is just a narrative, as this ancient commenter suggests, or does it mean that technological progression and a love of the natural world are not in fact mutually exclusive? And yet if this person was left on his own somewhere in the wilderness, he would feel nothing but terror. The appreciation of nature is rooted in the experience of civilization, of safety. True, but he's still right. So much of what our ancestors created in their last years was alienating to the majority of people. And the question isn't one of modernity, but of control. We feel more safe around a thing that we can control, rather than something that we do not control. We're afraid of change, of chaos. There's a recording here, perhaps Miranda.
If we believe that life is inherently valuable, if we think that other species are worth preserving, and we recognize that most of the universe is barren, then it follows that we have a duty not only to defend life, but to spread it. If life is the most valuable thing in the universe, then perhaps, in a sense, the cosmos itself is depending on us to do this. Like birds carrying seeds to uninhabited islands. Maybe that's our role in the galactic ecology.
Maybe. Maybe so. Oh. That's not good. This is not Skyrim. Okay, so there's not death from falling, but it does have an animation, which is fine. But the other side. Nothing here either. Well, let's go into the puzzle. It's like there's nothing here. Okay, number 6. 2-body problem. Not a 3-body problem, but planets and suns. Or 3 suns, I would say. They cannot be in balance. Okay, so we need a red laser to free up this. We need a blue to get to the end. neutral here. There's a blue here. And with that, I can get a red connection. Okay. I can stand. So now we only need blue. With both to you. Do not need this red anymore. Okay. So we have this here. And then this right here. For this one, this here. So going down here. Perfect. Private message. Rand, an introduction. Humble greetings, number 1000. This is Rand. Our friend Doge has assured me you're of sound moral character, and your insightful analysis when we met in the city draws me to the same conclusion. What is all this about? This matter demands that I be forthright. New Jerusalem requires strong moral guidance. Your expedition only makes that more urgent. We must end the incessant debate over the ethics of the goal, and focus on becoming the best people we can be. Life seems to be so complex, but I'm sure the answers are quite simple. Consider our species. Like our ancestors, we're just tubes, with inputs and outputs, yet we run on code so complex that we barely understand it. But the answer is simple. Garbage in, garbage out. It's our moral duty to use our instinct for good inputs to correct the bad outputs. I'm with you so far? Good. Because I have a great deal more to discuss with you. But first I'd like to answer any questions you may have about me. Who are you? I am one of the foremost scholars on the digital archives and the simulation which gave us life. Reading the code on which we run gives me insight with others, which others lack on how we ought to live. Where are you? I think that's in the museum. In my laboratory at the museum. Lately I've been analyzing the connections between our information libraries and the birthing algorithm, but I'm yet to find the pattern. So this was the guy that we did the program for at the terminal, at the middle terminal in the museum. Why are you? I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora? Answering that question is my life's work. We know our ancestors left behind a computer simulation with access to the archive, and the hope it would produce true sentience. And we are now here, and we are sentient. The real work is in filling in the gaps. The more code we unravel, the more clear it becomes that we exist for a reason. What do you want with me? My studies prove that we as a species are no accident. We are the outcome of billions of years of careful machination. It is my firm belief that the big questions have answers, and that they're encoded into our very souls. Imagine objective answers to why we're here and how we ought to live. It would be the most important scientific and philosophical discovery of all time. A provable, practical, moral code. Literal code, which already exists within all of us, without which we could not function. And you and I could be the ones to transcribe it. I can't tell you why, but I've reason to think that island holds the key to the puzzle. All I ask of you is that you stay true to your principles, regardless the cost. So what do you say? Is the world a better place if we work together on this? I think he's not asking me anything specific just yet, so I think there's no harm in working with him. So, yeah, let's work together. I knew you were one of the good ones. Well, usually there's a bit more of a ceremony when someone new joins the cause. Nothing fancy, just some tests of your faith in some homegrown simulation. But that will have to wait until you're back in the city. In the meantime, welcome to the Order of Uriel. Wait, is this some kind of secret society? Oh, absolutely. Most people can't begin to understand the complexities of our work, and some even seek to undermine it. One day we will have answers we can share more widely, but until then, it's best we preach largely to the converted. Is there a secret handshake? Amongst scholars in the know, there's a phrase we found in the archive that we sometimes use to get one another's attention, without exposing our meaning. Dark satanic mills. Okay. Are there others? Many of those who explore our code arrive at similar conclusions and share our ambitions, though I've studied the archive for longer than any. Be one with faith, my friend. You are not alone. Are there rules? Of course. But I trust you are already familiar with the crucial ones. Remember, it is not up to you or I to create the rules of morality. It's the rules of morality which create you and I. Yeah. And I think morality is not a cult, really, but if you are too enraptured with morality, then you become unhinged. So let's try to stay on the line. Thank you. Let's stay in touch. Cool. Well, I saw a path down there. Right there. But that's after puzzle 7. We'll see what that has to offer. Nothing in here. Alright. Oh. Alcatraz. Even more.
Hello, 1K.
What do you think about Miranda's idea that it's our duty to spread life?
Our ancestors thought they could introduce new species to existing ecosystems, and it never turned out well.
Like, Jurassic Park? I don't think that applies to places where there is no life, like other planets.
There's no life there now, but you can't see the future. You might be wiping out a whole ecosystem that hasn't even gotten started yet.
That's all. Or maybe there's never going to be an ecosystem, and I mean, if we believe in the multiverse, then eventually, somewhere, it will happen, but how do you know? Okay. So that's the Golden Gate. that's the path. Looks like the Golden Gate is just one puzzle. So we'll have, if I'm counting correctly, 12 puzzles. Yeah, 3 areas, every cardinal direction, and in every area there's one golden gate. So that's gonna be 12 puzzles. Where is this taking me? Ooh! A flame. Quite fun. So we have another cheat. I don't think I'll be trying to find all of the flames. Because we're not using them anyway, so I don't think it's that crucial. But yeah, we know that on that puzzle that we discovered, there's some kind of 3x3 puzzle. And then we have the Flame of Tiresias. That's our 2 stars. Okay, that will probably go down to a terminal. Yeah, that's true. This is puzzle 7. Redshift. Okay. I'll be able to see a blue. We have a platform. Okay, that wasn't so bad.
Congratulations, 1K. That was a hard one.
Nope, it wasn't. But okay. Let's skirt around. Let's see what the... There's one here as well. Is there one on each puzzle? Take a reference photo in case I want to figure this out later. ACT. Okay, well... This is going that way, which means we are at D. If we make a T, has is already solved. Okay. Which means that on 8 it will be an A, and on that lost puzzle it will be a C. Alright. There was a path down here, so let's go down there. It's taking us down to the sea level. Reminds me of Lethal Company with these lampposts illuminating the way on the deadliest moon.
There's an old saying about how, in the end, the sea will claim everything. I have no doubt that this is true. In the long history of the human species, entire regions have disappeared under the waves. Places like Beringia and Doggerland still echo in our cultural memories. But we shouldn't forget that life began in the sea. We are the children of the sea. And it's not through floods and ruin that the sea will claim everything, but through us.
Everything will eventually return to the water. Chernyshevsky. On the Past. From Arkady Chernyshevsky in Our Likeness, Essays on Humankind Reaching Adulthood. With alarming frequency, our mythological narratives conceptualize our separation from nature as a fall, a punishment for sinning, a loss of innocence, a decline from a golden age. We believe that a better state of humanity is possible, but insist that this state must be in the past. And yet our historical experience has been the exact opposite. For all the horrors of modern war, and they are considerable, relatively few people today have to suffer from unspeakable agonies that our ancestors went through on a daily basis. It is doubly ironic that we place our golden ages in the past, but very rarely ever consider what life was actually like for the people whose genes we carry. How cold they were, how hungry, how frightened of the cruelty of nature. What unspeakable pains they must have experienced when they were sick or injured. How many of their children they had to lose, unable to help, begging the heavens for mercy and never receiving an answer. The past is a slowly receding tidal wave of grief. The battle for human emancipation is not yet won, and the path has been far from straightforward, and yet in but a few thousand years we have eliminated a great deal of suffering that before must have seemed unavoidable and eternal. Some still suffer, their lives held ransom by politics and economics, but at least now we know that a better world is truly possible, and it lies in the future. Founding 4 from Hypatia. Journal number 4 is still volume 1, the founding of New Jerusalem, day 132. We had a bit of an incident today, nothing major, but it still woke us all up. Sun was away from the camp, alone, even though we had agreed that we should always go in teams, and she encountered a group of the herbivores that we saw on the first day. Cows, they're called. Apparently, our ancestor kept them as livestock. Eustathius says they squeeze them for liquids, but I find that hard to believe, but I digress. Sun encountered a herd, and just as predicted, the animals were passive at first, friendly even. Sun decided to abandon her survey to study them for a while, which went well. Until a group of wolves, formerly dogs, a type of pet, entered the clearing, causing a stampede. Sun is alright, only minor scratches on the bodywork, and a few torn wires. But it was a close call. I guess we'd gotten a little complacent, a little too comfortable. We'll have to be more careful from now on. Another voice memo from Trevor.
Now, I have to talk science fiction for a bit because I love science fiction, but it drives me nuts. There's this cliche that shows up over and over, and every time someone uses it, everyone pretends it's really profound. It goes something like this. A scientist invents something good, but, oh no, it's actually really bad. You could have something that makes your life better, but no, you can't. How dare you even want it? That's hubris. That's playing God. And it's never anything that reflects the real world, right? It's never, oh no, you invented a vaccine for cervical cancer. Oh no, you invented a new class of antibiotics. Oh no, you cured malaria. How dare you? Those diseased mosquitoes are way more important than human lives. How did science fiction become so reactionary? You know, if we all thought this way, you guys wouldn't even exist. At least Alex agrees with me. She has good taste.
How dare we save humanity? Alright then, let's go to... I think we can do the Lost Lab. From Quentin to Athena. Dear Founder, I never got to know you. People tell all these stories about you, and I don't know what to believe. Some people say to ask Cornelius, others say Cornelius is too blinded by grief. Some say Byron stands for the truth. Others say he's a fanatic and a radical, and we should listen to the mayor. There doesn't seem to be a way of getting a straight answer. Why did you abandon us to this chaos? Why can't you just come back and sort it out? If you are reading these messages, don't you care? Quentin. From Rodamni. Dear Founder, thank you for everything you did for us. I am grateful for the life that I have, which would not exist without you. I hope wherever you are at peace. Noema Project. Trials 938 to 1000 version 12 successfully deployed. New labs established to avoid interference. First successful duplication of advanced machinery. Okay, so these labs are where the experiments were done to avoid interference. Trials 1001 to 1300. Data collection and analysis, translation, groping in the dark. Trial 1309. Something, but QFT fails to account for this. Must rerun trials 1212 to 1294. Maybe God was just trying to make an apple pie from scratch.
This looks like it has something to do with energy generation. Am I reading this right?
From Belzerzan to Athena, O great and sacred founder, I believe I have discovered the truth that our so-called leaders have hidden from us. This absurd and sacrilegious goal they have us working towards, this hubristic completion day foolishness, was never your true intent. Even this abomination of a city that calls itself New Jerusalem is a deception. Why would you want us to return to the sinful ways of our ancestors, strangling the living soil with steel and concrete? No, it was when you and the first companions lived humbly amongst the splendors of Gaia, having no need for all this wasteful ostentation inherited from our weak and decadent ancestors, that you showed us the true path. After all, why would the progenitor have given us such hardy bodies if she had intended for us to live in unearned luxury. From the very first, we were built to be free from pride and material access. Your teachings have been obscured and perverted by ideologues, worst of all by the traitor Byron, who once was like a son to you. But you should know that there are still those of us who remember the truth and await the blessed day of your return, when surely justice will be meted out and humanity will finally return to its intended path. Hallowed be your name, Belzerzan. Shut down. Olufemi Canada. We assembled on the vast green lawn outside as the reactors began to slowly wind down. The workers were sullen, the activists who had fought against the decommissioning seemed crushed. There was supposed to be a speech, but the spokeswoman had lost her notes. Outside, the protesters cheered. My eyes were drawn to the discarded anti-shutdown banners, endlessly reciting the facts, the statistics on morality per trillion kilowatt hours, lowest of all energy sources. The lifespan of a reactor, 70 more years in our case. Minimal land footprint, almost zero emissions, no intermittency. It became a jumble of words, a litany, almost a kind of glossolalia. As far as the protesters outside were concerned, it might as well be an alien tongue. One thing was clear to them, and that was enough. The technology inside this compound was deeply, inherently wrong. It was a sin. I could not help but think of that moment on August 6, 1945, when the sky erupted above Shima Hospital. My imagination could never fully encompass it. How do you imagine more than 70,000 people annihilated in an instant? An ancestor of mine was in that hospital. He went from being a doctor, a husband, a father, a pacifist, stuck in a terrible war, to being a pile of bleached bones covered in rubble, all in a single second. Not by accident, but because of a choice someone made, not because of a reactor, but because of a bomb. Just 2 days earlier, contradicting his campaign promises, the Prime Minister had suggested that the use of tactical nuclear weapons would be an acceptable risk if the conflict continued. Very few seemed to find this particularly shocking or outrageous. They were afraid of reactors, but not of bombs. The spokeswoman gave up on finding her notes. It was starting to rain and people were walking away. She grabbed the microphone. By the time you regret this, it'll be too late, she said. But honestly, I don't know if I care anymore. Maybe you have it coming. The spokeswoman sounds so bitter. The protesters didn't mean any harm. From their perspective, they were doing good. People always think they're doing good when they get collectively outraged. That doesn't make them right. Collective action can change the world when it's deliberate and based in reason, but it can also become a mental trap or a societal pressure valve. Cliché. The thought terminating cliché from Something to Miranda. As you continue your reading, there is a useful concept that I would like you to keep in mind: the thought terminating cliché. This is a type of phrase, often a slogan or a saying, which sounds meaningful but is really intended to make you stop thinking. To pick an example from a history, someone in the simulation might say things like, "is the will of Elohim," or "it serves the process," and that would be that, case closed. Who knows how many iterations never advance further because they just stop thinking at that point. Do note, however, that a thought-terminating cliché is not the same as a lie. It may very well contain elements of truth, but those elements are used to keep you from questioning the whole set of assumptions that come with it, which may be partially or totally false. This often takes the form of appealing to something you care about. We must protect X. Where is X nation? Where X is a nation, we must protect X, where X is a nation, a philosophy, public order, or even the planet itself. But while you may agree with that element, all kinds of assumptions may be included about how to protect something, or who to protect it from, or what the end goal of protecting it is. If you stop there, just because you agree with surface level statements, the result may be the opposite of everything you wanted, like those who chose to serve Elohim and, in so doing, prevented him from achieving his true purpose. A lot to think about there. That was bright. But yeah, we have 2 puzzles left. Number 8 and 1 lost puzzle. Drilling party. So we will be drilling a lot. Guessing. Okay. So we will be controlling people. Okay, what does this guy need to do? Is there another person somewhere? So I don't see anybody. There is no other person. Is there anything that I'm missing? Oh, I think I know. I have to take control of him through there. Here. Open up this. Put it here. I am outside. Don't need that anymore. Cool. So with that, get this connector. I can get my second guy out. That opens up just one. This, do we have a mechanism? There is nothing else. Okay. think that means that I need this guy through. Okay, let him get stuck in here. Get out. Push him through. This way. Send him this through here. Okay. Not so bad. More difficult than the previous ones, but still manageable. And that was C, right? No, A. So I think behind this puzzle there should be something. Okay, never mind. Or do I mind? No. Nothing here. It's down there. Yeah, it's there. Right there. Okay. So we've done 8. So let's jump down. And do the puzzle from here. Could just jump to the exit. And where the exit is. Could be right there. I mean, it would be quite cheesy to just do it like this, so I will not. It would be too easy. But yeah, we have A. Okay. That's the correct pattern. Now we then just need to return to that lost puzzle that we already did. Interplay. We have a box. We have a person. It's a red. just exit. Cool. Alright. Now we just need to pass the cube here. Now that we have the cube, we can get that. Can I? I think I can. Just need to just go down here. Okay. Now we have a second connector. And now we need to connect to a blue. So you cancel that. You just do that. You connect this to blue. And put it up there. Fine. So activate this. Go there. Connect to the blue. Like so. Now we can take this. Go. See it? Yes, we do. You need to come back. Alright. Nice. Okay. That's everything apart from these dots. Which we know. And for the first star. Oh.
I wonder what it was like when the ancients were still here. Their world seems so lively.
Not always in a good way. Interesting times are great to read about, but rarely great to experience.
That's true. But they left behind so much art and philosophy and religion, and so many strange stories. Is New Jerusalem like that?
It was, in the beginning.
In the beginning. We didn't see Strathon anywhere. Maybe I'm just missing him somewhere. And that is a moat. Okay. get to the lost puzzle. And then we'll do this. For this, I believe we need C. Okay, star completed. Let's get Prometheus as well. Because he's on the way. This setup, but here. There we go. Give it to me. There we go.
We cannot return to the past, but the future can redeem all that has happened.
Alright. And now we just collect the second star and build a bridge.
If the fool persisted in his foolishness, would he become wise?
No, that would be craziness. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly again and again, regardless of result, expecting different outcomes. But yeah, so I think the fool who persists is just crazy. If they get the same result. If not, then they're just hopeful. And if they're hopeful for something that is not probable or not in the usual line of thinking, then they're usually considered a fool. So maybe. Depends on the person. Alright. Let's go in then.
For tricking the gods to help humankind, Prometheus was punished by being bound to a rock, there to be eternally tormented. The chains that held him were forged by Hephaestus, blacksmith to the gods. Was Hephaestus right to allow his art to be used in this fashion?
Hephaestus only forged the chains, it was Zeus who bound Prometheus.
And is Hephaestus therefore absolved of the responsibilities of the Creator?
Yes, because the power lies with Zeus. Hephaestus was just the inventor. If you were to blame every car accident on the one who invented cars, that would be nonsense. So.
It is not only those with power who have choices. As you continue your journey to the flame, remember Hephaestus and the burdens of the blacksmith.
Is holding. Solve the puzzles, enter the tower, speak to an entity, turn on the beam. It's like she's appealing to our past, reminding us of where we came from, but changing enough elements to make us view our history through a different lens. Or maybe I'm completely missing the point. I don't know.
You might have something there.
I read about this in a book. It's called defamiliarization.
You could? I think I'm actually impressed.
Alright then. And I think that's it for for South 1. Yeah, yeah. That's it for South 1. So we will cut it off here. And I'll see you guys in the next episode, the 10th episode, where we will try to explore South 2. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, consider dropping a like. If you want me to change anything, or if you have any comments, consider dropping a comment as well. And if you want to be notified about new videos coming out, you can even subscribe and hit the notification bell. But that's up to you. But yeah, thank you again very much for watching. My name is Ben Adam, and see you in episode 10. Bye bye.